How does your media product represent particular social groups? My magazine is aimed at various social groups, including 12 to 16-year-olds. It's mainly got a female audience, but males still read it. It's mainly aimed at the middle class and people who like Bhangra music. My magazine represents 12 to 16-year-olds in multiple ways. One way that is represented to them by the ratio of images to text throughout the magazine. As we can see, there are a lot more images in comparison to the amount of text. This represents that they are more interested in actually looking at the images rather than reading articles. We can pick this up by looking through the magazine, as it includes more photos rather than lengthy pieces of text in comparison to other magazines. I think that my demographic audience prefers more images than text. There are many different stereotypes which come with the ages between 12 and 16. Some of the stereotypes to girls are: they like pink, they're very clean. If you have a child younger than 18, you can be seen as a slut as such. Girls only care about their hair and their makeup. They always go on a diet. They all want to be mothers. They all want a guy who has loads and loads of money. That girls they're more emotional, we're backstabbers. We can also have the really bad stereotypes, such as the binge drinking, drugs, teenage pregnancy. Other ones are that you can have druggies. You can also be nerds, sluts and athletes as well. I think that we don't follow hardly any of these stereotypes, except for that girls like the colour pink and we wear makeup. I think that I've tackled this in a very good way. This is because when you look at my front cover, you will see pictures of makeup. This is because girls are mainly affected by the way they look rather than boys. Boys can just chuck on a pair of joggers and leave the house. However, as the girls get older, they apparently are more seen to be making an effort, even if they were just going to the shop. I think that in my magazine, it attracts more audiences because it relates to them, such as my image on the front cover. It isn't your typical girl. She's wearing glasses, she looks smart. They're not clothes that you'd usually wear as such. She's not dirty, she's not spotty as I seem. Her eyebrows are well groomed. This isn't your typical stereotypical girl. She is a girl which all of them want to be. They all want to look up to her. This is who they want to be. So I think that I've tackled this very well. I think that it represents females well because it has pictures of makeup on there, and it also has at the bottom pictures of lads. The pictures of the lads are posters. This means that if you're aged 12 to 16, you'd probably pull out the posters and stick them on your wall to look at when you go to sleep, or even if you just invite people round. There's also a pull quote saying, "Ask Tulsia," I still don't know how to say the name, "Ask Tulsia how to deal with boys and bullies." This is when they're going through a very crucial time in their life, which they are experiencing all their emotions. They're going through the changes such as puberty, they're in relationships, they're trying to figure out about boys. So having a celebrity's opinion on what they're going on about, I think that it's very well, and they'd want to understand what these celebrities are saying to them and how they're telling them to deal with these situations. I think that my magazine represents the middle class in multiple ways. One way that I think it represents the middle class is by the price of my magazine. My magazine costs £2.50, which has been chosen due to my survey results. As the demographic has chosen the price themselves, it tells us the people who would look at this magazine and how much they would spend on it. I think that this magazine is very affordable for the teenage audience. As they are between 12 and 16, they would probably get pocket money, and the pocket money probably would be about £3. This means that they can go to the shop, they can just buy themselves a magazine and a chocolate bar to read it with. I think that this is quite cheap in comparison to other magazines around. However, my Top of the Pops magazine is based at $2.99, and my We Heart Pop magazine is $2.99 as well. This is £3. I think that my magazine is cheaper, which is another reason why my audience would be drawn towards them rather than them other two magazines. I think that my magazine represents the social group of pop lovers very well. It's represented by them by the colour scheme. As we've already established, the colour pink and purple is mainly associated with young girls and other girls of this age. I think that it represents them as it's mainly based for girls, and pink and purple are mainly based as girly colours. Another way that I represent pop lovers is the content of my magazine. They have many different reasons to believe that this is a pop magazine, such as having Harry Patterson on there, having makeup, having Rita Ora based on there, having Jessie J, having Talicia, and having images of boys placed at the bottom. This is a way that you can tell that my demographic audience is based and they like this audience.